Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tearing It Up podcast and this special series we've got going with Title Nine and the Pitchfest series. This is episode 2. Doesn't really matter when you're listening to it, though, if it's the first episode you're listening to in the series or not. But I'm super excited to have our guests today, who all of which have been on the podcast before. So if you've been listening for a while, you may have heard their solo episodes and know a little bit about their businesses. But what they also all have in common is that they have been a part of Title Nine's Pitchfest in different ways. So they're going to give us a little bit of insight onto with what they experienced there at Pitchfest, what they learned from Pitchfest, and inspire some of you guys maybe out there to start your own businesses or to keep going, and just let you know how you can support these women-led brands after they've done something big or as they're continuing to grow. They're all still brands that need our support, women-led, and I'm just excited to be here with them today and get to talk to them all again. So we've got Cassie from Wild Rye, Gigi from Gnara, Maddie and Tina from SENIQ. We're going to dive right in. If you guys haven't heard of these brands or heard these episodes before, they're all going to give you a quick little kind of elevator pitch of who they are and what their brand is. Cassie, just because on my screen you're to my direct left, I'm going to go ahead and start with you.
I had a feeling that was coming. I'm Cassie. I'm Cassie Abel. I'm the founder and CEO of Wild Rye, and we were a winner of Title Nine's Pitchfest back in 2019.
Amazing. And where are you at physically today as we record?
I'm based in Sun Valley, Idaho.
Gigi, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Georgia Grace. I'm a founder and the CEO of Gnara, and we are on a mission to help everyone answer nature's call quite literally with our patented GoFly zipper technology. We competed in Title Nine's Movers and Makers Pitch Fest in 2019, I believe, and we were still pre-product and also pre-pandemic wiping out our factory. So it's been quite the journey since then. And yeah. I am recording from the western slope of Colorado, where we're headquartered in Gunnison, Crested Butte.
Our next two, we have co-founders. Maddie, Tina, will you tell us about your brand?
Yeah, so we are the co-founders of SENIQ. We are a modern women's outdoor apparel company trying to inspire more women to get out on trail. We were the winners from last year's Pitch Fest, which was super fun and exciting. And we're both based in Ohio, but Tina, you're calling in from
LA today.
Yes.
Amazing. We've got a nice variety here of where we're all at. I love it. I have to tell the people, what gap do you feel like you are filling in the outdoor industry? A lot of our listeners are women in the outdoors who have experienced struggle firsthand in finding, the product they need and that fits them. And I know that when you're starting a business, one of the things that, inspires you in the first place is fixing that problem. Gigi, like you've already mentioned with Gnara, I'd love to hear kind of where that stemmed from, what the problem was you saw, and where you see your brand fitting into that. And let's just start with you gals from SENIQ, kind of go the opposite way around here.
Perfect. Yeah. So 2 things at SENIQ. One is really building a brand and an experience outdoors that empowers women to prioritize their mental health. Maddie and I both have experienced our own mental health journeys through our lives and have found the best reset and recharge in the outdoors. And there wasn't really a brand that we were inspired by or excited to join their experiences to really make space for mental recharge. So we wanted to build an outdoor brand that really stood for that. And then outside of that mission, in terms of our product, there's so much white space that we feel like we're filling too. So really for SENIQ, we're building highly technical gear that also is trend forward and built to be versatile from trail to street. Really pieces that hold up on trail for any of your pursuits, but also match your everyday wardrobe and can be worn off trail just as seamlessly.
I love that. I've been seeing you guys all over my social media, and just the variety of things you have. It just really does feel like something different in the market. So it's been incredible to see you guys grow since I met you, heard of you, and since just winning last year. How does it feel like in this last year for you? Just a whirlwind of of things and emotions. Does it feel like it's even been a year?
No.
Like it's been 20 years and like 1 month all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been insane. I mean, I'm so excited. I think we both had such an amazing time at Pitch Fest and have grown so much since then. So excited to get into all of those topics and discussions. But yeah, I think now is the moment. There's just something happening in the outdoors. More women are in the outdoors than ever historically. A lot of them are new to the outdoors. They have different expectations for their product and brands that they want to engage and interact with. So now is just the moment for all three of our brands to really seize it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Gigi, and how about you? I feel like your project here definitely has a very specific use. Last we talked, we were talking about the licensing that you were doing, and it's been incredible to see that come to fruition outside of just what Gnara has for product and growing in that way. But yeah, we dive just a little bit into the gap that Gnara has filled.
Yeah, the idea for Nara and the Go Fly Zipper Tech came about due to my work as a glacier guide in Alaska. I was one of the only women up on the ice for 12 hours a day. And while the guys were turning around, unzipping, going whenever, wherever, I was having to trek across the glacier, carefully avoiding crevasses, removing 3 to 4 layers in freezing temperatures, doing my thing, putting it all back on, and hiking back to work. And while that process seems super specific and niche, like working on a glacier, and maybe not that many people or women are doing that, it's actually a lot more widespread and has a ton of applications outside of cold weather. And it's a barrier that women experience whether they're going outside for the first time. The bathroom problem is something that always comes up, or if they're super experienced in doing multi pitch climbs or first summits. Or sailing. Cole Brower set the world record as the first American woman to sail the world solo last year, and she did it wearing NARA products and using the zipper for 120 days straight.
Wow.
So it's always been our mission to get this technology into as many applications as possible, and licensing is the main way that we've done that since Pitch Fest. And so we've launched a couple products with other brands that have that functional tech overalls with Libsyn designs. And then we have inventory arriving next month with Burton ski bibs and compatible base layers, which we're really excited about.
So cool.
I saw the launch of that or, the announcement, and I just can't wait to see that out into the world. That's gonna be such a game changer in winter sports for sure.
Yeah,
And
we can't wait.
yeah, and professionals in winter in the winter outdoor industry. Cassie, how about you? What gap is Wild Rye filling in the industry?
I've been in and around the outdoor industry for the bulk of my career, which is a while now, so almost 20 years. And during my time with another outdoor brand, just saw a massive gap in the market for how we were addressing women um, in outdoor spaces. Historically, brands were focused on winning and being the best, and I found that women, couldn't be put in that one box. We have many different ways we like to get outside and reasons for getting outside, whether it's mental health and time with friends, exercise, fresh air, or pursuing your pursuits to a first ascent or a podium. And so Wild Rye launched to provide highly technical but outdoor product for women that actually fits and feels good and looks good and gives women confidence to get outside however they choose to play outside. So we've been really dedicated to changing the narrative for the last 9 years now to make the outdoors a more welcoming place for women. And yeah, I mean, we also have found a sweet spot of being a really mission driven brand. So we're B Corp certified and have raised $50,000 or more for Planned Parenthood and have really tackled sort of the whole woman. So women's health, women in business, women in the outdoors, like that is where we live and breathe. And we love getting to collaborate and work with the other women on this podcast in all avenues of what we're doing. We've come from a position of a rising tide lifts all boats, and we really believe that with all of the women in this room. And, you know, other women who are pushing the industry forward. So we're just really happy to be here in such great company, and I've seen so many incredible brands pop up since we launched. I just feel really grateful to be on this journey with such incredible women because the first couple of years were pretty freaking lonely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's changed so much in just a few years. Like you said, there's a lot of more women's brands in all different categories popping up on the scene, but it's far from like oversaturated. I don't think it ever really can be because
Mm-mm.
our needs are all so different and everyone offers something so different and specific to that person. I think there's room for all of us. So I'm also so happy to be here with you guys and collaborate and change that narrative of the collaboration over competition. It's amazing to have you all here, sitting here, rooting each other on, having involvement with Title Nine, who also shares those same values. And that's something I got into in the episode with Lisa and Molly was when you see a brand get bigger, a lot of times you see them drift away from their core values. And I was literally getting goosebumps like talking with Title Nine and hearing from them that they have not veered away from those core values. And I'm wondering, as I hear all of you talk, is it a fear you might have that as you grow, and especially if you are seeing like rapid growth, are you afraid that you might ever drift away from those values, or like that's something might try to take you away from it because it's just that's what happens in business at times? Someone may be directing you like, well, you should probably go this direction because that's where the money is or something, and it might be hard to hold on to those core values.
I mean, I think it's a big concern for a lot of brands, and I've seen a lot of brands sort of lose their soul and their core and sort of their North Star. I think it just every brand's gonna be different, and every brand is going to evolve and morph in different ways. At Wild Rye specifically, we, went through the B Corp certification process very intentionally to sort of serve as a North Star and keep us focused on where we're going, but also to signal to exterior influences, investors, retail partners, like everyone else in our orbit, all of our key stakeholders that like this is who we are, and we are unwaveringly a brand for good in addition to a brand for profit. And we've been really intentional about the investors that we've taken on in order to not stray from that. I think over the last decade and a half, there's been a lot of um, I, uh, sort of clout that comes with being a VC backed brand. And with that comes a whole different set of obstacles. And, there are really incredible VCs out there that are super supportive and want you to stay true to your values. And then there are VCs out there that are growth at all cost. We have made some conscious decisions to not go that route in order to stay true to our core and our mission, and not saying that that's the right path for everyone. Much like Title Nine, like we are unwaveringly a brand that stands for what we believe in and wears that badge loud and proud. And I think that's something that you get from like all of our women-led brands, and women-led brands in particular. I just find that women are very intentional with the way that they run business and the way that they give back and the way that they take on capital. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about that for anyone in this room.
That's what I was gonna say. I think fear is a funny word for this group of women, not to speak
Mhm.
for
No fear.
everyone, but this is a pretty risk-averse personality type here, and
Mhm.
really strong and kind of fearless. So, I think less of a fear and more of a challenge, like,
Mm.
that's kind of the fun part is, like, how do you grow this to your dream size while also keeping it as pure as possible? So
Mhm.
that's the fun part, you know?
Yeah.
I love that. And I feel like, a lot of people who are listening are maybe just listening outdoor enthusiasts, right? Not starting a business, but we all go through things in life that can take us away from our core values as well. So I feel like even those things that you have to say, it's one of those things throughout many different aspects of life that can be hard to hold on to, but having something like finding what your North Star is, Cassia, like that, in whether it's business or personal, can be so important and help you kind of pull you back in if you feel like
Mhm.
you're veering away at all. And with the VC investors you mentioned, and trying to navigate that world, I just wanted to quickly bring up what you guys just started at Wild Rye with the Weave Funder and inviting your community in. And that feels like that was how you are a way anyways that you're sticking to your North Star, is like you are asking the people who truly support you and help hold you to those values and share those same values to be a part of the Wild Rye journey.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like giving the opportunity to our community to own a piece of our success and our upside was very intentional. And, women receive 2% of venture funding. It's not a new statistic to anyone probably listening, but, giving that deal flow to women in our community and giving that opportunity to people who don't typically operate in communities or rooms where they're given opportunities to invest in up and coming brands and was another piece of the puzzle for us, in addition to having genuine believers back us and people who, have worn the product, people who have lived our values. Yeah, it was definitely a very intentional choice. As you know, the timing might have been a little forced. Thank you, tariffs, but the but the approach was something that we put a lot of thought into for a long time. And yeah, really excited to have just such an incredible, robust network of investors who, um, believe in us to their core.
I think that note on timing is a important one too, that's double-edged. Like on the one hand, there's unprecedented headwinds for small businesses, for women-owned businesses, for product-based businesses that we haven't seen before. But on the other hand, launching these brands at this moment in time has been advantageous in allowing us to, one, ride the coattails of so many women-owned brands. I mean, Cassie has completely paved the way in this industry for brands like Gnara and SENIQ to exist now. And being able to operate at a time when we can talk directly to our customer base, I think also helps stay true to those North Star values, because you're talking directly to the people who get it and want it. And even thinking about Title Nine, I think Missy founded Title Nine in 1989.
Yeah.
And thinking about like Nara's journey, pants weren't permitted to be worn on the floor of the US Senate by women until 1996. So this has been a very long timeline of gender equality and having that show up in product design. And I think the timing, while it is challenging right now, does really allow all three of these companies to stay true to the gaps they've identified and the values that they want to promote.
Speaking of timing, that's a perfect kind of segue into my next question is timing and how it all came about for you to enter into Pitchfest. I'm wondering first if Title Nine Pitchfest was the first like major pitch you guys did, and where you were at with your brand when it came to Title Nine and Pitchfest, and what that stirred inside you. The excitement, again, like the challenges, I like that word rather than fear, Tina, that it brought. And how did Title Nine Pitchfest work into your brand's story?
I think we met the Title Nine folks at Outside Festival, if I'm not mistaken, Tina. And they came up to our booth and we just like fell in love with their team. They were so much fun. So we heard about it that way. And I think we were maybe 3 months from the launch of the brand when we first got introduced to the fest. So we were very much so in our infancy. I think it was our second pitch overall. The first one was a week before that. So it was very fresh. And the first one we did was an investor pitch. So that one was definitely a bit more stiff of an environment compared to the Title Nine Pitch Fest. So we didn't know what to expect, but we were, just shocked by how amazingly supportive the whole Title Nine team was, the other founders. We met, amazing mentors there. It was just an incredible experience that really lit a fire for us inside, not only for SENIQ, but just learning about other people's brands, getting more women outdoors, and hearing about other people's businesses. It was really, really a life-changing experience for us.
Gigi, I'd love to hear your take because I saw that was it just the other day that your Go There pants launched in Title IX. They had started with the shorts, but the pants are what launched from Gnara first, right? Can you talk a little about your experience with Pitchfest and how it has like continued to grow since you've been there?
Yeah. I remember filling out the application and having no idea if we launched Gnara from my college dorm room. I think a professor had sent us the press release about the pitch competition, and I had just done our first pitch, which was just like class wide in this college class, and I won $250 that I took to a local seamstress to help refine the design. So I'd done some pitching, but it was on a much smaller scale. And then by the time that Pitchfest actually came around, I was doing a Fulbright fellowship in the Czech Republic, and I'd been running some crowdfunding campaigns for our first product, the Go There Pant, from there. So we sent another team member. We were all volunteer at this point, and we also didn't have products yet because we had just done our crowdfunding campaign to raise the funds to then place that PO. And so I remember we were like, should we even show up? Are we going to be laughed off stage because we're going to be pitching in hand sewn samples? I'm pretty sure they were like prana pants with a lime green zipper and no flap covering it, like a real attention getter. And the fact that we were finalists and then did pitch and still had interest from the largest independently owned and operated women-focused gear store in the country was huge. I think we ended up with shorts first because following the pitch competition, that was the buying season we were then in once we finally did get inventory. And it was really cool to see how most of the reviews for shorts, I think like 85% of them mentioned our pants in some way. Either they found our shorts because they already had our pants, or they really wanted Title Nine to stock the pants next. So this week has been a real full circle moment on growing with external partners and relying on that core community that got us started at the beginning. So it's been really cool.
I love that it's also a clear sign and showing that like Title Nine is listening also to the feedback, right? They want to give the people what they want, what they need. And that's amazing that they, were able to listen to that feedback, pulled them on, and obviously are full supporters of Gnara and all of you. Cassie, what about you and Pitchfest? Where did that come into your story with Wild Rye?
When you first mentioned this, I was like, oh my gosh, what was even happening leading up to that? It feels like lifetimes ago. I think I was an outdoor retailer when outdoor retailer was still like a vibrant space to be. And a friend of mine had just started doing PR for Title Nine, and then she invited me to their 30th anniversary party. And I got to meet Missy in real life and learn that she was a big mountain biker. And she herself encouraged me to apply. So I was like, okay. And I have like major fear of being on video. I hate being on video. And I had to record a video. And I remember like standing at this bike festival, Outer Bike, that was in Sun Valley, and like taking 5,000 takes of this silly video that was like awful when it was finally submitted. And I'm I'm old school. I'm not video. I'm not confident on video like all these beautiful women above me. But yeah, it was a major fear. I almost didn't apply because of the video, but I ended up applying, and I was assigned mentorship from Sally Bergeson, who was the founder of Wazelle and one of my heroes, in addition to Missy, in paving the way on the running side of things, and really like, sticking it to Nike in those early days. And so, yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible experience, and showing up to the actual Pitch Fest. Like I said, I don't like video. I don't like public speaking. So I was so nervous going into it. And I had a team member at the time that just sat there for hours and let me pitch on her. And that preparation really paid off because I felt really confident going into the actual pitch. But coming from investor pitches and other things like that, it was like night and day. Everyone there wanted you to win, and we're not just talking participation trophies, but everyone's in there cheering for you and wants to support you with the tools. I've been a judge ever since that first year, and I've sat in those judging rooms and like listening to the other judges and really, talking through, the support that every brand could use to be successful, even if they weren't going to win the Pitch Fest. And, hey, what can Title Nine provide, even if we're not going to issue them a PO just yet, but what can we provide to get them to a position where they are PO ready? And I mean, I've never come across a retail partner that cared so deeply about their brands and the success of the brands and bringing other brands up through their funnel of experience and opportunity. So, yeah, I mean, I have just been such a Title Nine fan ever since. And yeah, I mean, if you fast forward to when we actually launched, it was the spring of 2020, which, if everyone remembers 2020, that was the year that COVID hit. And it had been a spring for us. I had a 2-month-old baby.
Oh gosh.
My dad had a heart attack. My mom was in the hospital with COVID. I had COVID. Our website had just been hacked because I was a sleep deprived new mom and I had like given someone my bank account information without realizing it. It was just like, we had an earthquake in Idaho. I'd never experienced an earthquake in Idaho. Like, it was just like, what else? Like, the sky is falling. What else could happen? And REI and not, I don't think it was REI, but some of our retailers were hinting that they might be canceling POs. And we had like made this big commitment to a really big product line. And it was a really scary time to be in business. And we launched with Title Nine in April, I believe, of 2020, maybe late April, early May. And 3 days after our launch, I got an email from Missy herself that was titled "Holy Shorts," and all it said was, "We've sold more Wild Rye shorts in 3 days than we've sold mountain bike shorts in entire seasons. Like, we need more."
Wow.
And I just was like, I think I just burst into tears because it had just been so much that we'd been up against, and I was solo at the time. I think my one employee had moved on and moved out of town and moved on to the next thing. So I was just trying to hold it together on my own. So to get that email from the founder of Title Nine was just like everything. And I owe the Title Nine team and Missy such a debt of gratitude for all that they've done for Wild Rye and everyone else here and every women-led brand out there. So yeah, that's my Title Nine story.
It's amazing. I mean, I feel like this whole conversation really enforces, like we mentioned, the collaboration over competition and it gives me hope, that we really can work together and really do support each other.
Mhm.
One thing that I learned about Pitchfest too is that Title Nine never says there's one winner, right? They don't know. Like, there could be multiple. And that shows how truly supportive they are behind these brands. And even if you don't win, you're in the loop. They stay connected because and willing to help you with other things. And
Mhm.
I think this bleeds into so many other aspects of life. It doesn't just have to be business, but these are things that we can take with us and remember that if we are this way and our communities can build these communities around each other, like, this can get us through the hard times, whether it's
Mhm.
personal or, like I said, it doesn't all have to be business. Like, but to see these things happen in business is so much more amazing because I feel like that can stop some people sometimes from taking the next step or making a move, being afraid that once you take something into the business world that it loses the human connection
Mhm.
or something, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I just can't ever stop pounding the message too of, as women, we need to work together and support each other because we went through so much time being pitted against each other. And especially because there was the tokenism of the one woman in the, whether it's outdoor sports or whatever, and you had to kind of fight to be that one woman. And we don't have to do that with each other anymore. If we can show the
Mm-mm.
way for each other, bring each other along, then we can create those spaces better, or more
More
spaces.
more women in the outdoors is more business for all of us, and so I
Yeah,
think we're all in the business of just getting more women outdoors, and, a bigger pie means bigger pieces of the pie for all of us as opposed to having to chip away at each other's piece of the pie. I mean, yeah, so
absolutely. And
completely agree.
I mean, it gives all of the us on the consumer side out there more options too, right? Because we're all so different in different needs that the
Mhm.
more we can support the existing things out there, the more options that will become available for us. So we're all really getting what we need because things can be so niche and whatnot. You're just slightly different here or there. And but we have to support each other to make more room for each other. And I love having the support and feeling this energy even through the screens. This one might be a little bit hard to answer. I don't know, because I'm sure you guys love like a lot of the product you have. There's a need for it, but I am curious if anyone has one specific product in their line that is just like their baby, they're super proud of, but it has morphed too. Does anyone have one thing in their mind?
You're making us choose our children here.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I only have one real child.
Mine would be our trail mix pant. It was the style that was kind of the brainchild for SENIQ. It was like the Kickstarter for our product line. And we have a new product coming in spring 26 that I just know is going to take over that spot, but it's somewhat similar. It's another bottom, but that was kind of the hero product from the inception of the brand, and I still wear it like 30 times a week. So that's my go-to.
For us, it's also our flagship product is our pant, our Go There pant. And we started with 2 colors of that pant, and now it's available in 9. We have over 30,000 units of it out in the world. So it really has become the do it all, any kind of environment. That's what a lot of people know us for. I'm actually wearing them today.
I love that. That's incredible. 30,000 units. Wow. And 9 colorways.
awesome.
That's also a wow for one style, it feels like.
Yeah, which is something that also aligns really well with Title Nine, because they, instead of buying across like a couple of several different SKUs, they really go deep on what they think will do best. And that has always aligned really well with Gnara's business model of really perfecting a product, releasing 1 or 2 a year that are all the bases are covered and growing in a more sustainable way. There are plenty of retailers who are like, we want, minimum 5 styles. Otherwise, you're not taking up enough space on the floor. And I really admire the way that Title Nine sticks to its guns with buying and doing it in a way that really supports the brand that it buys from.
Intentionality.
Yeah, exactly.
Wild Rye's products. I mean, we're most well known for our bike products for sure, but I have a new favorite that's launching, I think, on October 2nd. So just about a month away, but we've been developing highly technical women's outerwear for snow sports for the last 4 years, and they're finally coming to market. So my new favorite product is our Hayburn kit. So bib, pant, and jacket for women who move in the mountains. And this is our more backcountry oriented kit. And yeah, I wore it all last winter. I wore it in Japan. I wore it in Idaho and wherever else I skied. I can't remember.
Not with
I
Trophy
remember-
Handler, though.
Oh, no, I was wearing a swimsuit for that. Exactly. But I remember my team needed my kit back for a photo shoot or something. So I got my sample set like taken back away for about a week, and I had to put on my old kit from a men's first brand. It was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I've worn this for the last like decade.
Forever.
And
Yeah.
it just made me love our kit even more. Just the fit is so good. And yeah, I mean, there's a reason women are so good at designing products for women, because we actually wear them and our bodies are different. And so having a backcountry bib that actually fits a woman's body is just like chef's kiss. So yeah.
I'm so excited to try it.
Yeah.
That
Me
whole
too.
the year-long tease is like I'm like on the edge of my seat.
Totally.
I am too.
Yeah. That's how I feel with like your launch too, Gigi, with Burton. It's like hearing about these things and then I forget that they're not actually like out
Real life
yet. I'm like,
yet?
oh yeah. And that's
I know.
yeah, totally. That's incredible. The 4 years of development, Cassie. I mean, that's got to be something real sweet to finally see in stores and in people's hands, or will be anyways, because that's I mean, back to 2021, it feels like, wow, you were through all of the things that have happened in the last 5 years, and you're still working on this launch and waiting for it. I'm like, come on, let's just get to the finish line here. Well, it's not even a finish line. It's kind of like the starting line.
Yeah, it's really the starting line because
Yeah.
it's going to continue to evolve, and like already making improvements on it for fall 26 and fall 27 is about to kick off in our world. So
Heck yeah.
yeah, it's insane just the development process that goes into all the products that we're all bringing to market. So yeah, I can't wait for it to be a reality for out there in the world for everyone.
I love it. Tina, do you have anything specific?
Yes. So I'm not going to name a bottom. We'll give another category some love. We have developed this poplin that is built for the dirt, and it's called our Dirt Pop. And Maddie and I's go-to uniform off trail when we're not wearing technical garments is our button downs and our denim. And we were really craving a highly technical poplin that we could kind of like keep that uniform still living on trail. So we developed this beautiful piece. It's the perfect weight of fabric. It's water resistant with a PFC-free DWR finish. And it also has snap off sleeves. So it converts from a long sleeve jacket into a sun shirt, which is just fantastic. And it's one of those pieces that it is quite niche when I explain it. But when you see women picking it up and trying it on in store, it kind of becomes that thing that like they didn't know they needed.
Mhm.
Just the coolest. That's one of the coolest, I feel like, experiences to have with product is designing things for women that solve solutions that they like weren't necessarily top of mind or that they didn't even think were possible to be solved. So they weren't seeking it out in the market. So
Right. They thought the solution was just like, oh, you just put up with this discomfort.
Yeah.
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 totally. Or it's like,
That-
oh, like I have to buy sun shirts and sun layers to protect me, but no, you can actually have like 2 for the price of 1, and you can also wear it to work or you can wear it out after your hikes. So yeah, that's the same.
That's so cool. I love diving into these things and these topics because I also feel like it gives, again, the general audience or consumers an insight into like what goes into this. And so rather than just going to a store, shopping off the rack and seeing something that you like or you're questioning or whatever, like you get an insight again into the brains and how it was born, and it can just give you so much more appreciation of the product than know that it was like literally made for you. And again, just that appreciation that I think we all need in more product, and when we can have those connections to product and brands too. And I think that's just more important, sharing these stories that there's a true connection there with your gear, because part of being an outdoor enthusiast and outdoor brand, I think is protecting the outdoors, right? Like Cassie, you said intentional about the product you guys are making, your partnerships and everything. And if we as consumers can really learn these stories too, I think it's just so important and can, you're trying to change those buying habits, which obviously isn't easy, but getting these stories out here, I hope will, move the needle in the tiniest way for people out there as they are shopping for their outdoor gear and can shop with a little more intentionality, hearing directly from you all and what goes into everything that you're doing. And it's been, obviously, we all know, a tumultuous 5.5 years or whatever. Crazy time to be in.
And months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Crazy time to be in business and to start a business, and what you all have done in the last 5-6 years. So I'm sure you have learned a crazy amount of things. But is there one thing that you would say has been your biggest growth lesson thus far? And I also think that you can take it into, it doesn't have to be directly like to your brand, but maybe it's been something that you have learned about yourself that you've been able to take into other areas of your life.
I think something that's been top of mind for me recently that I've been reflecting on is how much, and I don't think this is unique to me, I think a lot of female founders feel imposter syndrome or are concerned about coming across as too pushy. And I think especially with external partners, since we have a lot of new retailers and a lot of new licensing partners, I've been worried about those things. Like, okay, like I don't know if this partner is like as on it as we are, but so I'm gonna like keep sending these follow-ups. And I think like learning to not be afraid of that and realizing like that is the strength of small businesses. Like they can pivot quickly. They're super creative. They have way more flexibility with their marketing than other larger brands, realizing that those things I have felt like afraid of in the past are actually the biggest thing that we bring to the table. And now having an online, I think we had maybe maybe like 2,000 followers tops when we first pitched Title Nine, and now we're at 250,000 followers online across Insta and TikTok and YouTube. And so realizing like it's that kind of boldness and I don't want to say pushiness. I don't know what a good synonym for that is, but like
Perseverance.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That is like what has ensured the success at this
Mhm.
level and has made other brands not just interested in the technology itself, but in the audience that we bring also to their brands. So just trying to like stand in that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Love it.
One of our, just to piggyback off that, being from Columbus, Ohio, one of our mentors is the founder of Jenny's Ice Creams, Jenny. And I feel like one of the
Mm.
best pieces of advice she ever gave us was like giving yourself permission to be a soft-edged bitch is like the term she used. And
love
she's
that.
like, that is the formula that it takes to win in business.
I like that.
It's like you're keeping your femininity, you're keeping your softness, but like you still have to stand for what you want and be strong and follow up when you need to and like set your expectations and standards. So I think about that a lot too, because yeah, it can feel funky to fight for what you want, but I think we have to allow ourselves to do that. So
I love
Yeah.
that. Soft edge
Soft
bitch.
edge bitch.
yeah.
I wrote that down. That's super good.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Someone text that to me because I don't have a pen and paper in front of me.
I think we look up to both of these brands on this call so much. You guys are like total inspirations for us. And we've only been in business for a year and a half. So we're just so learning and in such a different phase. But what is top of mind for me lately is just less is more. That is just in any function of the business. I think when we put so much more intention into what we're doing and try to actually slow down a bit and make sure that we're being intentional, whether it's in designing product or how we're expanding the line, or it's in how many brand partnerships we're kicking off or how many marketing pieces we're trying to create and put out into the world. I think that just was the biggest learning for me, because right when you start and you launch, you feel this energy and momentum and you kind of join on this crazy hamster wheel and you can kind of get out of control mentally and want to take on the world, and you start to do a bit of that. And I think you very quickly realize there's diminishing returns pretty immediately, whether it's like physical, mental health of your own or of the business even. So doing less but being more intentional, I think, is just the biggest lesson lately.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, I think it's also bringing in some helping hands.
Yeah.
For the longest time, it was Tina and I, and then we had a full-time designer, but we literally just started hiring people within the last like month or two, and it was long overdue. And I think we were somewhat resistant to it for a long time, just as you're trying to be profitable as quickly as you can and keep your expenses low. But at a certain point, it's so imperative, not only for mental health, but also for the business and all those things, to bring in some helping hands who you can trust and believe in and who share your vision.
I love both of those things. I feel like I personally have been working on that in like business and personal life. So I think both of those you can definitely take into, like I said, any area of your life, especially like the majority of our audience in the age group that they're in, I think is so important. And I like, hey, remember less is more, and let's take some time, delegate, ask for the help, which I think as women too can be a lot harder in our society, whether it's just our own inherent like desire or like we feel that we need to do that. Also what society puts on us that we need to do all of this. I just saw like a meme recently that was something about like, stop telling us that women can do it all. We know we can do it all, but we want to go to the fucking gym. Like, and I'm like, yes, like exactly. Like,
That is so real.
Yeah. Like, yep, fill in the blank, but we want to like do this, bike, ski, whatever, like run, hike. I know I can do it all, just but I don't want to. Like, sometimes I do, but I need to learn that I don't need to or shouldn't. Like, yeah, to before my own mental and physical health.
Yes. Amen.
It's been
I
a
would
big
say I've
thing for
learned
us
both of the
too.
things that both Georgia Grace and Tina and Madison have mentioned, and like completely agree. I think in the spirit of where we are and who we're with, one of my most important mentors, Missy Park, founder of Title Nine, one of her most frequent sayings is that business is a team sport. And as a former collegiate team sport athlete, I couldn't agree more. The amount of times that I've called on my community, fellow brands of the same size, leaders from other brands in the last year, to get through the tariffs and navigate just the chaos that we're up against. I mean, it's just solidified it that much more. And but yeah, I just think the power of the network is so valuable, and I think that's another reason why I believe so deeply in collaboration over competition. And yeah, sure, we might compete for a sale here and there, but in the end, like us collaborating together and leaning on each other and sharing learnings is goes so much farther than that one sale. That yeah, I just really believe that business is a team sport, and um, helping those that are up and coming, and calling upon those who've been there before is just something really special in our industry in particular. I feel like I've gotten, been welcomed in with open arms with leaders um, from other brands because they want to see us succeed, and I feel the same way about so many other up and coming brands. But yeah, business is a team sport. Life is a team sport. It takes a village,
Yes. Yeah. 100%. I love that. I can resonate also very much with that. Growing up as a team sport athlete and whatnot, and carrying it into other aspects of life, or trying to. It feels like there was a time for sure that it felt solo, and that's what's interesting about what my main sport was, that it was very individual, but also you're on a team. So kind of feel that's what I've done with my life. Is like, okay, doing something solo over here, but I still have a team behind me. And I'm sure that's how all of you have felt throughout your business, because you started as like with a smaller team, maybe just yourself, maybe one other person, and you were in the throes of things and get support of the community, friends, and now have gradually been able to grow your business in teams and just expand that community and reach. And I'm wondering, other than like taking over the world, what's the boldest vision you might have for your brand?
Well, I mean, we're not shy about saying this, and it is funny saying this in a room full of brands doing similar things and brands that I really admire and respect. But our goal has always been to be the women's outdoor brand of choice across categories of sport for women. And we are continuing down that path. And I say that while still believing in business as a team sport. It doesn't have to be one
Yeah.
versus the other, um, but yeah, that's our bold vision for where we want to be as a brand, and while staying true to our values. I mean, the advocacy work
Yeah.
that we do is just so wildly important to who Wild Rye is as a brand and the community of people that we attract. So yeah, being that from a product
Love it.
side and a business standpoint, while doing all the other bold things that we have tried to do over the last 9 years.
I don't think anyone would ever take offense to it, because like we're saying, I mean, that's part of what we need to learn, especially as women, is to say what it is you want and be able to say it without being afraid that you're going to, not saying that that's how you felt, Cassie, but like that you're going to offend someone, or that you want to be able to say this and speak what you truly want without, hurting your friends' feelings next to you. I don't think there's any problem with saying like,
Yeah.
we want to be the best. I think you all should say that, and you can all say that and still all support each other and want to see each other succeed. And getting rid of that, like those ick feelings that it gives you, like, or maybe used to, that when you see someone else succeed, that it's taking something from you. It's not. It's like, it's not taking anything from you at all, and you can still go on and like be the best that you can be or want to be while others succeed too. So I absolutely love that bold vision, Cassie, of Wild Rye.
Yeah, I think in addition, I mean, that of course, I think, yeah, is probably a shared vision for all of us, or definitely for Scenic at least too. And then
Mhm.
I think another thing that just like leveling it up a little bit even is just hoping that we're all starting to build this momentum and this movement of changing the outdoor industry to actually be known as solving for women's problems first. It's an industry that is known for solving men's problems first, and I think there's a lot of trust in the male consumer in the industry, and inversely, there's not as much trust in the women's or in the female consumer in the industry. So if our brand singularly or all of our brands together can help sort of like change the culture of this industry to be known for actually innovating for women and prioritizing women in gear, I think that's the end game, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar sentiment for Gnara too. We want to see the GoFly be the dominant and the norm technology instead of the exception. So we want to make designing by women for women the priority baseline instead of this like, oh, how unique that they're
Yeah.
doing it this way. Like that should just be
Mhm.
the baseline norm. And I think recognizing that the problem has never been and will never be anatomy. The problem is design that doesn't
Ugh.
take everyone's into account.
Mhm.
So just centering, I guess, human-centered design, but especially women-centered design
Mhm.
is what we're aiming for.
I love it all. And so you guys inspire me, and I think inspire all others out there. Again, not just business, but consumers. What you guys are all doing and building is solving those problems, those gaps, and helping women get outside. So again, whether you're listening as just a consumer and outdoor enthusiast or have business thoughts in mind, have your own business, I think you can take something from these women and the inspiration that they're helping us all get outside and giving us the things that we want and truly need. So thank you all for, again, being on this call, sharing your stories, and doing what you do, standing up, using your voices too. That's something else that I'm inspired by you all is holding to those true values, not being afraid to say what you guys want and stand for on your platforms. I think that's something that we can all take from too is standing our ground, speaking up for ourselves and our needs. And you all are doing an amazing job about doing that and shouting it from the rooftops. So as we wrap it up here, I would just love for you all to share where people can find you, support you, and if there is something out there. Again, I think we've touched on it for the most part, but if there's anything specific that, keeps you fired up for chasing that dream, you can share that as well.
You can find Scenic on scenicbrand.com or on socials at SENIQ is our handle. And then something that like a well of inspiration for me that I find myself going back to recently is Emma Greed's new podcast. It's really strong, and the guests are, most of them are entrepreneurs. So highly recommend.
That was such a good one. I've been listening to that too, and I always leave with like a gazillion notes on all of the takeaways. It's such a good one. I would say something that's been inspiring me lately is just making sure, I don't know, for any entrepreneurs out there, but just making sure you're getting around people and people close to you and getting inspiration from friends and family. I think it's really easy to kind of like fall into a little dark hole of your business and get so dialed. So that's something I've been focusing on lately and I always find inspiration from.
You can find Gnara at gnara.com, Gnara, and all of our socials are Gnara_apparel. GoFly Technology is the other platform. And definitely the advice about remembering that your entire worth is not your business, even though like your life energy is why your business exists. That's important to spend time with people who loved you long before you ever started a business for reasons that have nothing to do with it. And then the one that I think has felt true to me for the longest throughout this journey is just making sure you maintain a sense of humor. Like if you're not able to laugh at yourself and to laugh at others and to laugh at the things that people will say and let them roll off, I think it's hard to keep moving forward. But when you realize kind of the absurdity of it all, it makes it a lot easier to chuckle and keep going.
Wild Rye. You can find us online at wild-rye.com on Title Nine, like everyone else. Our Insta's wild_rye_. Someday we'll get on streamlining that one, but for now, that's where you can find us. And gosh, inspiration. This is a hard one. I feel like this year has just been such a slog that I haven't taken as much time to dig into podcasts and books. And I've just been, at the end of the day, as much as possible, stepping away and like really just digging into some gnarly murder mystery books or novels that take my brain completely out of the business, or, convincing my kicking and screaming 5-year-old to go for a hike with me. But that really takes my mind off the business. So, but no, I mean, I think the inspiration really comes from our community. And, this year, the bright light for me has been seeing our community show up through our WeFunder. And, I feel like it can be very lonely being a founder. And so, getting those words of affirmation from our community has set me back on track when it's been, we've been swimming upstream or rolling a rock uphill, whatever you want to call it, with current state of the economy and tariffs and global supply chain and the attack on women, thanks to the current administration. So, yeah, I mean, our community has just shown up for us. And so I take a lot of inspiration from seeing our community just get out there and get that fresh air that I wish I was getting more of, because I spend a lot of time right here.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well, everybody, thank you for listening out there. Always remember to check the show notes. You can follow along with these ladies, check out what they're offering, and stay tuned for the other Pitch Fest series episodes that we're doing with Title Nine to learn more about them and the amazing community that they're helping shape in a part of, like all these women here are today, because we here at the Tearing Up podcast are also all about building that community and supporting each other, getting outside and all that. So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you all again for being here today, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.